ICE, that's Immigration and Custom Enforcement, to the Ku Klux Klan. I wish I was kidding.
Well, the Klan was what we would call today a domestic terrorist group.
Why? Why would we call them domestic terrorist group?
Because they tried to use fear and force to change political environment.
And what was the motivation for the use of fear and
It
force?
was based on race and ethnicity.
Right. Are you aware of the perception of many about how the power and the discretion at ICE is being used to enforce the laws? And do you see any parallels?
I do not see any parallels between
I'm talking about perception.
officers and agents.
I'm talking about perception.
I do not see a parallel between what is constitutionally mandated as it relates to enforcing the law.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a
that
perception?
puts ICE in the same category as the KKK. Is that what you're asking me?
Oh, she wasn't done yet. That footage is from 2018 where Kamala was keen to drive the point home that ICE is akin to the KKK. Why? Because they enforce the law.
Are you aware of a perception that the way that the discretion...
I see no
I'm
parallel.
not finished.
I see none.
I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Are you aware that there's a perception that ICE is administering its power in a way that is causing fear and intimidation, particularly among immigrants and specifically among immigrants coming from Mexico and Central America?
Joining me now is the Senior Editor-at-Large of Newsweek and Article 3 Project Senior Counsel, Josh Hammer. Josh, is America ready for a president who compares ICE agents to members of the KKK?
Rita, America is becoming a more left-leaning place on a seemingly daily basis, but, I have to think that the answer is no. Kamala Harris has been on the wrong side of every civilizational jihad against the West and against the United States over the entire course of her not particularly illustrious career. So we have seen here the comparison between ICE and the KKK. Well, let me explain to a first grader, probably better than what Kamala Harris can do when she's talking about how inflation means prices going up. Let me try to explain to a first grader the difference between ICE and the KKK. ICE is a law enforcement agency of the United States government. The Ku Klux Klan was the very quintessence of vigilante justice. By the way, vigilante justice actually oriented towards injustice, not actual justice. I don't have to get into how morally ignominious it was, but the mere fact that one is a governmentally sanctioned body and the other is vigilantism, that in and of itself ought to demonstrate that there is simply no comparison here. But around the same time that Kamala Harris was interrogating their comparing patriotic ICE agents to the Ku Klux Klan, that was within a few months of her very leading role in the September 2018 jihad against then Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Kamala Harris, along with Cory Booker, that fateful day in late September 2018, she was one of the leading inquisitors who hashtag believe all women. She took Christine Blasie's word for it that Brett Kavanaugh was a serial gang rapist. The left on that day in September 2018, Rita, throughout 5,000 years of civilizational innocent until proven guilty norms, Kamala Harris was one of the absolute ringleaders of that. She should be made to answer for that, frankly, right now in this calendar year on the presidential campaign trail.